welcome back to another Let's Talk About, well technically this is Let's Talk About More Scooby-Doo because we've already covered the Scooby-Doo Return to Zombie Island back in 2018 when I first started the series. So we're back now with some extra stuff because 2019 and we saw the trailer, we saw the sneak peeks, we saw the artwork on Instagram showing the comparisons between then and now, and some screenshots from the movie, and we saw the DVD front cover as well as the back cover, and we got the release date, which is pretty awesome. So yeah, we got all this information that we have now that I didn't have when I first started my video, because when I did start it, it was just to get hyped up about it, to talk about what they could possibly do. Will it go back to Moonscar Island, or will it be like another island somewhere else? Well, all that is now finally uncovered, so that's pretty great. But I do like to say this now, San Diego Comic-Con that happened on July 21st, they were screening the actual full-length movie for people who attended. So for people who've already seen it, this video probably won't be helpful to you guys, but I would really much appreciate it if you didn't spoil anything in the comment section below, because I know there are some viewers that watch my videos that haven't attended it and that haven't seen the movie, and I really don't want to disable comments on my videos. So if you couldn't spoil it, that'd be terrific, because then it just keeps us and my viewers at home at ease, so we don't get the movie ruined before we get our chance to watch it, because it comes out on digital in September. I think the 3rd, I believe it is, so that's pretty good. So it comes out on the 3rd of September on digital, so I'm already buying that off Amazon, so I'll be able to watch it, and then it'll be coming out on DVD around October time. And I haven't seen a pre-order yet on Amazon, but I think there is one on eBay now, but I always go with Amazon because of Prime and all that, so I haven't seen one on there yet. I've seen the digital pre-order, but I have not seen the DVD one, so I have to wait until it's closer to date. I know in the UK we don't get luxury slipcovers, but I'm guessing since this one is the sequel to one of the greatest Scooby-Doo movies of all time, it's only fair and right that it should have a slipcover to go with it, unique artwork and stuff like that, and hopefully a lot of bonus features, and if it's possible for them to release a Blu-ray. I know it's a long shot because normally they don't do that to direct-to-video releases. It's only on rare occasions, so like the Daphne and Velma one, or certain Scooby-Doo movies like Camp Scare. I think Cyber Chase came out on Blu-ray. And the new Scooby-Doo movies, Almost Complete Collection, came out on Blu-ray, which was totally awesome. But this one, as a direct-to-video movie, and as a sequel, hopefully it will get a nice slipcover to go with it, and hopefully a Blu-ray release, so that we have more extra features added onto there, because most of us would like to see not just the movie, but to see the behind the scenes and whatnot of old interviews with new interviews of the cast and that. So hopefully that's possible, but if not, it's not the end of the world. So moving on with the actual video itself, as the information that I have, it is technically spoilers but not spoilers. So it's not going to ruin the movie, but it is going to pave a picture for the movie. So what we do know is that the gang does go back to Moonscar Island. It's even said on the DVD back artwork, and it has been on some description elsewhere on the internet, and I'll do my best to post the links to what I find, especially the Instagram pages that have provided the comparison video clips and the new screenshots for the movie, so that you guys can check them out and follow them. So the gang does return back to Moonscar Island. That is confirmed, so that's terrific. But they go there on a resort because basically, if you remember how Curse of the 13 Ghost ended, like they went on vacation because they put up their like capes and all that. They basically, that's the same in Return to Zombie Island. They solve all their cases, they go on vacation, Shaggy's wearing the Hawaiian shirt. In the trailer you see all of this, and you go back to the resort where it all started. From that as well, we see from the trailer that Fred thinks, like, he even says this looks vaguely familiar, and as soon as they get there, they get warned to leave. And I think it would be nice back some like throwbacks as well, because it was started like at at the start of their journey, so it was before What's New Scooby-Doo series even kick-started. So it's probably been a long time since they've ever been to the island. So seeing little bits to try and jog their memory, they probably went there like they did on Curse of the 13 Ghosts, like just see an ad, go there and just have the holiday, not realising that they're on the island where all the spooky shit happened.
The Zombie Island Mystery! This is it! One of the unsolved capers!
Oh my god, it's Zombie Island. Whereas people were a bit annoyed about that because I was like, it's not Zombie Island. Like, Zombie Island was the name of the title, which I totally agree it was, but people always called it Zombie Island because that's where the zombies were. But the island was actually called Moonscar Island because of the pirate and his treasure that was left there and the people he massacred.
He was the cause of all of this. I was one of a group of settlers who made this island our home. We looked to our cat god for a bountiful harvest. Until that night, when he came ashore. He drove the islanders into the bayou. All except for Lena and myself. We uttered a curse on the pirates to destroy them as they had destroyed our island. Our wish was granted. We became cat creatures and destroyed the pirates. Only afterwards did we discover that invoking the cat god's power had cursed us as well.
Over the years, boats continued to come to our island. One was full of spice traders who started a pepper plantation. The plantation flourished.
At least until the harvest moon.
So when the Mystery Gang win this vacation of a lifetime to go to this tropical island, which is called Moonstar Island Resort, they plan to put up their mystery fighting days behind them, not occurring to them that this is the terrifying place that they face the zombies and the cat people. Yeah, this is the same place that Fred notices, and it all comes back to them like, this is the island, we're back at this island. This is not a tropical island, this is a hell zone, like no way. The fact that they didn't notice when they were on the ferry that was in the trailer is beyond me, or the town they had to pass by to get there was even beyond me, because they must have known, like, who accepts a random invitation to go to some place without checking information about the residents around the area? Surely, I know Velma doesn't always try to point stuff out straight away, but she is the smart one out of the group. I would have thought she would have done some research to find all this information, but the gang go back and it has been confirmed that there are cat people, which is terrific, because on the back artwork of the DVD cover it does show some free cat people, so that's pretty terrific. And I have some thoughts and theories about what this could all be. So, you know, in the first movie, Zombie Island, they destroyed the cat people, they destroyed free cat people, and now there has to be 3 new ones. I think it's the descendants of the ones they killed coming back for their revenge, and it makes sense because it's 20 years in the making. That's the best storyline they can go by, and I know it's just a prediction and I know there's many more out there, but I think that the zombies are back to try and scare the people away from the resort, to try and save them so they don't suffer the same fate as all the others. So the same zombies that were from the first one are probably still there, still buried, still lingering. Like, they want to make sure that this doesn't have happen to anyone again. So when these new cat people show up, obviously they got the same curse, they need to drain life energy. It could be revenge. That's why the Scooby-Doo gang have received this invitation of a lifetime to vacation at this tropical island, which is not tropical. Makes perfect sense how this could all play out in two possible ways: revenge and the setup. And it explains well how the zombies come back, because normally people are like, oh, okay, it's the same zombies, maybe it's a flashback scene. Yes, probably there is, but there's no possibility there might not be a flashback, but it is good that they might take that direct route, seeing a flashback but also bringing back the zombies, because they still linger there, their souls still linger there. Even though they disappeared in the first one, their souls can still come back to warn future victims of the same curse, if you see what I mean. In the trailer, when we see the zombies attack the resort, I'm thinking that they're just trying to scare them because they can't talk. Like in the first one, they came out of nowhere and started chasing the entire gang. Even Shaggy and Scooby were afraid. It wasn't until Daphne, Velma and Fred were saying they were the good guys and that they finally decided to trust the zombies.
Shaggy! The zombies are the good guys!
Like, are you out of your mind?
Maybe in their own sense that they might remember that, but it's really hard because the zombies could either be like, don't have a brain, so they're probably just doing it on instinct, trying to scare them away, or the zombies could also be controlled. Maybe that's a possibility. You have an army of the undead, makes perfect sense. There's three cat people. Obviously, I believe the guy on the boat could possibly be one, like in the original, but they might throw that into the movie where Shaggy and Scooby run to the boat and be like, nope, I'm not trusting that guy. Remember what happened last time? He was a cat person. I'm making it sound so complicated because I'm talking about so many things at once. So what I want to happen is that the zombies are basically coming back to warn the gang, but also as well, the zombies could also be controlled by the new cat people, and the cat people could probably be avenging the fallen last ones, because that could also make sense and be totally awesome, which means it could be a never-ending cycle, which just proves that hopefully they don't ruin it like in Curse of the 13 Ghosts, and then Velma's like, oh, they were never any cat people to begin with, it was something in the atmosphere or some shit that was hallucinating us. Wait, how the fuck do you hallucinate ripping someone's head off? How does that possibly happen? Like, really? I'm just gonna rip your head off, but don't worry, I was hallucinating an acid, so I didn't kill no one.
It's probably the gardener.
We'll just see about that. If this is a mask, Fred, it's a pretty darn good one.
Good one? It's the fakest, cheesiest mask I've ever seen. It's the gardener.
No.
It's the fisherman. No. It's the ferryman. Oh. Maybe it's real. Huh. Ah!
So yeah, I just know that Velma's going to ruin it if they do go down that approach, because they like to make it scary, then be like, oh, it's just like a Halloween animatronic or whatever it was. But yeah, hopefully it's real zombies, hopefully it's real cat people, it's still the real curse, and that the original doesn't get humiliated or tainted by this sequel. That's the one thing. A classic will always be the best, but with a classic that does so well, there's a possibility of a sequel, and the sequel never really turns out the way you want it. It never does. It could be good, it could be shit. And when it comes to Scooby-Doo, we thought Curse of the 13 Ghosts was going to be totally awesome. Finally, after all this time, we were about to see the 13 Ghost. Turns out, at the end, there was no 13 Ghost, and they got our childhood ruined. With this, if they ruin our childhood, I think it might just mark a dent in Warner Bros. Because they should really try and up their game and not ruin it for new generations out there who are just getting into Scooby-Doo. Because you watch the classics and you can pretty much see how it does go down and then up, but then does alright, but then they do stuff like that and it just pretty much cracks the entire Scooby-Doo universe. So on screen now, I'm going to pretty much show some comparison images from the original, that would be up top, and then the new one that will be down below, just so you guys can see what it was like back then and what it is right now. and see what your thoughts are. So the first one is the actual ferry boat. Now we see it in more detail and we can actually see how it ages, which is terrific. I quite like how they did that touch, because in the original you saw it brand new, spanking clean, like it was just like put there fresh out of the box, which back then you couldn't really add too much detail into animation back then, because there was a lot of process that goes into it and you really couldn't do frame by frame, because back then you had to do a frame by frame and keep it all the same. Whereas now it's all done on the computer, they can add in those details of rust and how it's all just like decaying and breaking down and keep it in one nice flow. Back then it was understandable because there's a lot of time and effort, you don't want to spend too much time, but with the new one at least it looks really smart and fresh. Now the next image, which I don't really understand why this one was here, but here it is. All it looks like is like I've manually focused my lens. That's all it looks like. Yeah, we can see a better distance, like there's more on the screen, the bottom one, and the top one just shows a little bit. But overall, why this image? I just thought it was a waste. Like, don't get me wrong, it looks lovely. But if someone showed me the bottom image, like, guess where this is from? Like, I have no idea. Like, Scooby-Doo, Return to Zombie Island. Mate, I only would fucking know that it was from the comparison. Again, this had potential, but Jesus Christ, I did not like it. So this is the lair. This is where you conduct all your curses, where they used to take their victims, suck them dry like a lemon. And then we got the one at the bottom, which shows it more updated and where it's more ruined, because over the years no one's really attended it like they used to. So it's all just a bit died down, but the curse is still there. The curse has never been properly lifted. Like, anyone new can probably get the curse. That's what I'm saying. It could be out of revenge that people are trying to bring the Scooby-Doo gang to the island to kill them, basically. That's what I would do. If I was going to make a revenge plan, like, I'll literally lure them in there and then take my time, just be, you know, creep it out. I would probably spice up and take them out one by one, starting with Velma, of course, and then work my way up to Daphne, then Fred. I'll just leave Fred's ascot on the mystery machine, so Shaggy and Scooby get very scared, and I pretty much just get Shaggy and drain him, because they probably can live off Shaggy for about 10, 20 years. Same with Scooby-Doo, so it's pretty much a lifetime meal. But then the one thing that I really thought was a bit weird, the zombie in the actual image, like the bottom one, you saw the zombie, he doesn't look like he's terrifying, doesn't look like an actual properly ghoul as what people would call him, but to me he just looks like a guy in a mask.
Say what?
And that's where it got really disappointing, because a lot of people, they were saying they did not like how the zombies looked in the new in the sequel, which is totally understandable. Not even I think they're terrifying. I think the original classic is still the better half, even though the animation has come so far. I still think the old style is more terrifying, because it just shows more emotion in every single shot. Whereas this, it's just too much live action going on. It's too lively. The zombies look too healthy, too happy. I just don't like it one bit. And this guy clearly looks like he's having a mask on. You're not terrifying, mate. You're probably scaring people away from this area because you're conducting either some drug deal or whatever's going on, but clearly you're not real zombie. So I'm saying right now, that guy there, probably not a real zombie. And when I watch a movie, if it turns out to be a real zombie, I'm going to be gobsmacked. Or if it turns out there's not real zombies, I'm going to cry. Now we go into our last image. This is a comparison between the zombie from the original. You know when they came up the ground and when that nice epic montage, like Terror Time, again is played? That's that zombie. Look at the new update one. Again, I still like the original. I know a lot of people will probably say that as well, because the new OG one, yes, it looks so much more sharper, so much more cleared up, and you could put a lot more detail on there. But you didn't. You made his eyes glow like a light bulb. Like, how is that terrifying? No one's going to get terrified of that. If you look at the actual old classic style, you see that he has no lights in his eyes. He's lightless. He's emotionless. He's terrifying. He's scary as shit. You could tell a lot by people who are looking at their eyes, whether they're killer or not. The one on the bottom looks like a healthy guy. He looks great. He could probably have a drink down the pub. The one on the top, brother, fuck that. If I met that in the graveyard, I'd be running screaming for my life. And even the features on the face where it decays off, on the new one, it looks like it doesn't do that. So yeah, I think the zombies, how they done them, they didn't really make them terrifying. They tried to make it a bit more, okay, they're zombies, but don't get scared, kid. Mate, I want to shit my pants when I watch this movie. Not be like, oh, that wasn't scary at all. So yeah, zombies, how they were made, like how they designed them, not great in the sequel, I don't think. I still hope they're going to be real zombies, mind you, but still not great. And as well in the trailer, they come out in the caves, and people were saying, oh, in the original they came outside, and in the trailer they came into the ground. I was like, doesn't really picture where they were buried though. They could pop out anywhere. They're zombies. So yeah, I think that like the spirits is reanimated, they come back to life trying to warn them, or they're being controlled, which is a highly possibility. Like controlled zombies, great, perfect army, just try and suck the life out of everyone, build your numbers up, conquer the world, expand. That's what I would do. Actually, that'd be pretty sick, actually. Imagine making a series of this, like a whole series. You know, Scooby Apocalypse, like the actual comic book script. I've up to number 27 at the moment. I'm reading up to. That's really good. Like, they should definitely make it into a series, but make it 18 so that it doesn't get like PG down like this has. But yeah, those were the comparison images. We have got some sneak peeks, so I'll just show on screen because they were from the trailer. So if you didn't watch the trailer, I would highly recommend watching it. Like I said, all links will be in the description below. The zombies, the zombies don't look good in this sequel, but they look better as the OG ones. That's the main downfall. Like, you've gone so far in technology, you could have made it more scary. I tweeted this a while back, 15th of July, so this was before Comic-Con, and I had like a theory or a prediction of why the Scooby-Doo gang is so young. Imagine if the Scooby-Doo gang had the same curse as Simone and Lena, but don't get any of the drawback. Like, they keep their immortality, they have to drain the life force from victims to keep young and fresh. Whereas I think the gang, as they defeated them, they obtain the immortality but don't have to have the same drawback, so they don't have to drain the life force of victims in order to stay young. Because a lot of people were saying, well, the gang's revisiting this island after so many years, after all their journeys. Because you understand, this came out in the 90s, but no one knows the correct Scooby-Doo timeline. So if you remember from Curse of the 13th Ghost, they announced that they were pretty much nearly 18 and that they would get in serious trouble if they do the things that they do. So it's really hard to predict what age the gang is, because back when Zombie Island was announced and when people watched it, we saw Velma holding her own bookstore. We had Shaggy and Scooby working at airport security. We had Fred and Daphne at Channel News and all that, where Daphne had her own news station where she talked about her hauntings as teens. So it's really trying to figure out what age the gang is, because she had her own TV show. Fred was the camera producer, and from that you really can't go into that when you're 16, so they must have been pretty older. Like, don't get me wrong, like, they could say they're teenagers, but still though, being all that. Shaggy is a bit older, but he's not that older than the gang. I'm pretty sure if you just turn 16 you can't go in security, or if you're 18 you can't go in security work. They're still training in a lot of dudes before you do that, especially at airport. So yeah, to try to find the age of what the gang is, what I think is they got the immortality curse from that island, and that's why they still look the same. But then in Curse of the 13 Ghosts, they announced that they were nearly 18. So again, the whole entire age timeline does not make sense. But until they said that, it's like, they must have the curse then, because they still think that they're the same age. They don't age, they don't notice it, they just live their lives solving one mystery for another. From my point of view is, I think they are cursed without knowing it. They think every day is the same day, they're solving new mysteries after and after again. And they don't age. They don't age a bit, they don't get, like they don't grow facial beards, they don't do anything like that. They're still the same teenagers, which is very confusing. But maybe when they go back to the island and restore it back to paradise, their curse might get lifted as well, and they can start aging. Who knows? So yeah, from back when Zombie Island was, and through all their journeys, Curse of Fandango's announcing what age they are, to this movie now, it's pretty much of a shocker. It's like, how old are they? It makes no sense. There's no way you're telling me, in the time it took from the movie, from the OG one, to this one, with all the adventures that they had from What's New Scooby-Doo onwards, they can't not tell me it's like 6 months. I don't believe it. I don't believe it one bit. There's no way it's been like 6 months or whatever. There has to be years. That's why I think they never age. It's because they're cursed. But again, that might not be the possibility, and all will be revealed when the movie comes out in a month's time, which is so annoying. We're so close to seeing it. And I'm so glad as well, because I thought at the second this movie was going to come out, there'd be people on Twitter going like, oh, this ending happened, this happened, oh god, this, or on Reddit and that. But no, I have not been given a spoiler, I've not been given the ending, which I think is terrific. Just shows how strong the Scooby-Doo community is. But I still like to pre-warn people is that don't spoil it in the comment section below. So if someone asks for the ending, try and find their social media and PM them privately. Don't put it on the comment section where everyone can see it, because no one wants to avoid a comment, because it's going to be lingering on the screen. It's going to be on their plan in their mind. So from all we talked about, Return to Zombie Island could be a huge success, or it could be a flop. So yeah, I'm really pumped for this sequel. I cannot wait. It's so glad that they finally did this as a sequel. I really hope that they might do the other classics into sequels, so we get to see Alien Invaders sequel or Witch's Ghost sequel, because I really want to know what happened to Ben Ravencroft, like what really happened to him. Is he still in the book? I know the book got burnt, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be fireproof. It's a magical book. I don't think fire is going to destroy it. Because if fire destroyed the book, then why was it buried? Why not burn it back then? It makes no sense. It's like you see a book thinking, this is a demon's book. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to bury it so people can find it later on. And, you know, all hell's going to break loose. No, I'll burn that shit so that way nothing can get out. So yeah, I think Witch's Ghost has the best possible sequel outcome, because there's no way you're telling me that that book is destroyed. So yeah, if that got a sequel, we already know what's happening and what's coming back, and the Hex Girls get thrown along in it. So yeah, hopefully after this one, Warner Bros. Might do the Witch's Ghost, which would be terrific, and Alien Invaders, and then if we're lucky, we might get a TV series of the Cyber Chase, which would be totally terrific, because I've always spoke about Cyber Chase being a series rather than a movie, because it has so much more potential as a series rather than a movie. So all these possibilities that could happen in the next few years is great, because Warner Bros. Like to release 2 new Scooby-Doo movies each year with a TV series. But if they ruin this Zombie Island sequel, I don't want to see a sequel of Witch's Ghost. Just don't. If you're not going to do it properly, don't do it at all. That's all we're asking. A sequel should live up to the original, not flop based on the age group rating that you want to give it. And another thing I want to talk about before I end this video off, because I don't want to make too long of videos, but the soundtrack as well. So I reacted to some sneak peeks, and I didn't really like the chase music. So The Ghost Is Here should have been the chase music for the opening scene, because that was the sneak peek that was released. But also as well, on top of that, I think they should bring back Terror Time again. Like literally, that should definitely play in the zombie chase scene. Like, it's Terror Time. It definitely deserves to get played. It's just one of the best momentum build-ups from Zombie Island, and that song alone, everyone was so pumped about it. I used to, on my VHS tape, I used to rewind just to listen to that entire soundtrack, or parts of it, because it was so good. So yeah, hopefully they might have an option to enable that, or somewhere in the DVD settings. But hopefully It's Terror Time makes a comeback, because I would definitely love that to bits. But yes, I hope you guys have enjoyed my Let's Talk About, or Let's Talk About more Scooby-Doo Return to Zombie Island, which I think this is the first Let's Talk About series I've done where I've talked about more of something. And normally I don't do that, because I normally go out on a pitch with the first one. But I did that in 2018 when there was basically no information. Like literally when I first started it, there was no information. None at all, which is really surprising. And everybody thought, that's not going to happen. It's on the wiki page, mate. Anyone can put it on that. And now it's here. And now people are like, oh my god, it's really fucking happening. So yeah, when I first started it, I was going in like a obsessed child. Like I was really excited. I wanted to throw it out there and, like, you know, get people on the trend, or just like get them noticed about possibility of a sequel. We got the sequel. Many of you, probably some of you, have seen it because of San Diego Comic-Con Legends. But again, don't spoil it in the comment section below. But hopefully when I see it, hopefully some stuff that I've talked about might be in there, or some answers from the original might be set in stone, and we might get the ending that we always wanted. And I really hope Snakebite Scruggs is a cat person, because, no offense, if he doesn't make a comeback in this movie, I'm gonna literally be outraged. But also, is he a cat person? Is he a cat person? I think he must be a cat person, because he was there fishing for Mona, the big catfish, while all the cat people were on the island, and you're telling me they did not want to eat him or suck him dry. Even Jock, the ferry driver, even he must have wanted to sink his teeth into that guy, because he is a jerk. So yeah, is he a cat person? Is he immortal? What the hell is his problem? Please bring back Snakebite Scruggs. He definitely has to make a comeback, because he had a shorter scene, but there definitely has to be a nostalgic throwback for him. Like literally, the same thing must happen again.
Should've let the gators eat you. I can't stand tourists. Now all your splash and chase Big Mona away.
But yes, if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, comment and subscribe. And when you do subscribe, make sure you post notifications by ticking that bell to keep updated when it posts new exciting videos each week. And I'll see you next time, but until then, take care.